Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is over. Julian Alvarez will not be coming to FC Barcelona this summer. And this is such a bummer, man. It's such a bummer. Obviously, Julian Alvarez was the ideal number 9 replacement that we needed after Robert Lewandowski left us, and of course, after Ferran's departure as well. Barcelona were targeting one man and one man only, and that was Julian Alvarez. And I'm pretty sure we can all have agreed that Julian Alvarez was the perfect ideal striker for Barcelona to have as their number 9 for now and the future. But of course, during this whole saga of trying to pursue Julian Alvarez, the only party that made it difficult and honestly made it impossible was Atletico Madrid, them holding a clear stance of not wanting to sell Julian Alvarez whatsoever. Barcelona made it clear that their target was Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez came out public during the World Cup expressing his desire to leave Atletico Madrid and fulfill his dream. And of course, we know that his dream is to play for FC Barcelona. And then after that, nothing else really happened. Barcelona sent a 100 million bid to Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid obviously rejected that because we know that's just not enough for the likes of Julian Alvarez. And of course, Atletico Madrid came out publicly and responded to Barcelona in terms of tweets, in terms of pictures. They had photos made, different things that obviously trying to mock Barcelona, even the likes of Fabrizio Romano at one point. That was the response, and making it clear once again that they will not be selling Julian Alvarez, especially not to a rival like FC Barcelona. It came down to a point where we all knew that Julian Alvarez was the one that had to take action once again if he wanted to push for this move, because Barcelona were going to wait for him. They were going to wait for another gesture for him to do something else to really push a move, because Barcelona really can't do anything if Atletico Madrid are not willing to negotiate as they have been throughout this whole summer. So Julian Alvarez had to do something. When he returned to training, we expected him that Monday that he returned to training to hopefully speak to the likes of Gil Marin or Diego Simeone, but they weren't there. Apparently, they had gone into vacation. So a couple of days later, when they had returned, we expected Julian Alvarez to speak with them, especially with his agents, who his agents also came with Julian Alvarez to the grounds at Atletico Madrid. And we expected something to happen there, a little meeting, a little talk. Julian Alvarez apparently did speak with Diego Simeone, and apparently Diego Simeone only told him, hey, it's not up to me. It's up to the board of directors. It's up to the CEO. It's up to the president. They make the decisions. I can't do anything about it. And apparently, Julian Alvarez didn't even speak with Gil Marin. Like there was no talk whatsoever with Gil Marin, and it was expected that there was going to be a meeting this week, which never happened. Nothing happened between Julian Alvarez and his camp with Gil Marin, and now the season has already begun for La Liga. Atletico Madrid played their first game today against Malaga, winning 2-0. Julian Alvarez was not part of the squad, nor was he in the stadium, but at this point, it's over, guys. Like, there's just no point of pursuing this anymore. Atletico Madrid are not going to want to sell, and it's a bummer. It really, truly is a bummer. I wanted Julian Alvarez so bad at Barcelona, as much as I'm assuming a lot of the majority of the fan base of Barcelona really wanted Julian Alvarez, and you know, it sucks for him as well because he wanted to fulfill his dream of one day playing for Barcelona. Now, who knows if that will ever happen? We'll have to see how it goes next season. If Barcelona start going to perhaps pursue Julian Alvarez once again, and maybe after this season it becomes a bit easier. You know, obviously going down to how the feeling is with Julian Alvarez, Atletico Madrid, his relationship with the fans, and with Diego Simeone. We'll see how that goes throughout the whole season. But it's just a bummer, man. And at the end of the day, it's a matter of Julian Alvarez just not doing enough. It just comes down to that. We all knew that Julian Alvarez had to go down the route of Alexander Isak when he wanted to leave Newcastle, not showing up to training and coming up with another public statement of his desire to truly want to leave. Because I genuinely believe if he did that, if he didn't show up to training, if he came out with another public statement, that Atletico Madrid would have sold him. They would have been like, all right, we don't want you here, especially because at that point, the fans would have completely turned on him. They wouldn't want him whatsoever. At that point, they would be screaming, sell him and get as much money as possible. But Julian Alvarez didn't do that. And I'm upset that he didn't do that. I'm really upset that he really didn't try more than he did. But at the same time, I can understand it. I can understand that at the end of the day, it's your livelihood. He has a family to think about as well. And if he went down that route and Atletico Madrid were still maintaining the stance of not wanting to sell, even if he does a public gesture or whatever yet again, then that'd be just difficult for him and his family, with the environment around the club, the fans completely turning on him. And, obviously he's looking out for himself, his mental health, and everything that comes with it as being a professional footballer. And when you have your own team, maybe even teammates, you can say, maybe even coach, the whole board of directors, everyone, the fans completely turn on you, it's not a place you want to be. It's not one place you want to be, especially when the club is going to keep you hostage like that and not want to let you go, right? So I'm not going to blame Julian Alvarez for not doing that. I wish he did. It's a bummer that he didn't, but at the end of the day, that's what he had to do. He had to go down that route if he really wanted to fulfill his dream, and he just didn't do it. It just didn't come down to that in his mind to do that for whatever reasons that may be. But I can understand, I guess, that why he didn't want to go down that route. But I think the main thing with this whole thing, you could say the main culprit of this whole thing is Atletico Madrid. They just don't want to sell the player for obvious reasons. Of course, he's a world-class player. He's the player that they want to try to build their project around. But I think the main point came down to ego and not wanting to obviously embarrass themselves if selling Julian Alvarez to Barcelona because of the way they've come out publicly with all this. The way that they basically talk shit on Twitter and everything, the interviews that they've had, having a clear stance that they're not selling whatsoever to any club Julian Alvarez, right? So if they did everything they did the way they did on Twitter and everything, and then in the end sold Julian Alvarez, that would be complete and utter embarrassment for Atletico Madrid. And like I mentioned before multiple times, it's just a matter of how other players are going to be looking at Atletico Madrid. They're always going to be looking at Atletico Madrid as a bridge team, which I believe them to be, that they're always going to be a bridge team, because I just don't truly believe that any player wants to play there, or any world-class player, up-and-coming world-class talent would truly want to play for Atletico Madrid and represent their badges because it's their dream. No, for the most part, I see it as them using it as a bridge to go to the next level, to go to a Barcelona, to go to as a Real Madrid, right? So if they had sold Julian Alvarez after everything they did, other players are going to be looking at this as like, all right, let's go get our money at Atletico, let's use them as a bridge, and then one day make a huge move into the Premier League or another big team in Europe, right? So obviously Atletico Madrid would be a complete embarrassment if they did everything they did and then at the end sell Julian Alvarez. In my opinion, that's the main thing, because I truly believe Barcelona would have put down the money. We all know that 100 million is not going to be enough for Julian Alvarez. A lot of people were saying if Barcelona really wanted Julian Alvarez, why didn't they send more money? Why didn't they put another bid? Because Atletico were not willing to negotiate whatsoever. Barcelona not going to waste their time sending bids for it to just immediately be rejected if Atletico Madrid are not willing to negotiate. Because I truly believe if Atletico were at one point be like, all right, let's negotiate, Barcelona would have sent a huge bid, whether that be 140, 150 million. I think that's the max that we can agree on Julian Alvarez would ever be worth. Anything above that is just ridiculous. Some people saying just pay the money, pay the release clause. No one's paying 500 million for any player in the world of football, not even a player like Lamine Yamal. No one's ever paying that kind of money for any single player, right? So again, I don't think it's a matter of the money. And plus, let's not forget, Real Madrid sent 150 million bid and they got rejected, right? So I don't think it had to do anything with the money. It came down to, for me, at least how I'm seeing it, an ego thing with Atletico Madrid where, again, it would have been an utter embarrassment for them if they sold Julian Alvarez, and what that means for a club like Atletico Madrid, who are looked at as a bridge team, and obviously when your star player, when your player that you want to build a project around wants to leave you, that's quite embarrassing, right? That's quite embarrassing for a club, for any club, really. So, I mean, it's a bummer. I really wish Julian did a little bit more to really push for this move. If he really truly wanted it, if it is his dream. Again, I don't know if he'll ever get the opportunity again. I don't know how Barcelona are going to be moving next summer in their pursuit for a striker, because right now, when we look at the options that we've been seeing that Barcelona have been linked with to get a potential number 9 for this summer, when the season's about to start, it's not looking. There are not any options that are world-class options or one of the best strikers in the world options, right? So I'm sure Barcelona next summer will be going all out to try and bring someone in, whether that be Julian Alvarez again or maybe other names. We'll have to see. But I mean, I do hope one day Julian could come to Barcelona, maybe next summer. Maybe next summer things change. We'll see how the season goes with Julian Alvarez with Atletico Madrid. Again, there's been reports during the game today against Malaga where a part of the Atletico Madrid fan base were screaming Julian, hijo de puta, Julian, hijo de puta, Julian, son of a bitch, among the insults heard from a section of Atletico Madrid fans during the match. And Diego Simeone was asked about it, and he says, I'm very respectful towards our fans. I mean, I don't really expect Diego Simeone to really say anything much about it. He's just going to be like, I mean, the fans have every right to ridicule or, pass judgment, you can say, on Julian Alvarez for everything, the way that he's moved during the summer. And again, expressing that he doesn't want to play for Atletico Madrid anymore. So it's understandable that the fans are going to do that. Barcelona fans are guilty of doing that as well. So, listen, that's just how it is, right? But I mean, we'll have to see because the president of Atletico Madrid says, I don't know if Julian Alvarez will apologize, but I'm sure he'll win fans back within 2 games. Barcelona were told from the very beginning that we wanted to keep Julian. Again, keeping the clear stance that they're not going to sell, and something that the president has said for a while now, saying that eventually the fans will forgive Julian Alvarez. Again, I think they will forgive Julian, scores them a couple goals, but they'll never forget, right? They'll never forget. They'll never forget the fact that Julian Alvarez expressed the desire to fulfill his dream. Like, when you hear that from a player saying he wants to fulfill his dream and he's playing for your club, clearly his dream is not to play for your club, right? So, obviously, that's going to hurt Atletico Madrid fans for a lifetime, as long as Julian Alvarez is there until the day he eventually leaves, right? But I'm guessing they could forgive him if Julian scores a couple goals and maybe even wins them a title. We'll have to see. But Fabrizio Romano had reported that the reality is that Barcelona is continuing as of today to hope and wait for an opening to get Julian. I don't think it's going to happen, but Atletico doesn't want to sell, and that their stance remains very strong. Yeah, we all know that. It's just not going to happen, guys. I feel bad for Julian, man. I feel bad. I feel so bad for him. He wanted this to happen. It would have been incredible for us to get a player like Julian Alvarez in, but hey, we move now. We move, and we have to move quick because, again, the season starts this Sunday. In a couple of days, the season starts, and we don't have a number 9. Obviously, we have a youngster up there who has been killing it in this preseason, but is he ready? That's the main question. Is he truly ready? And are the other players who Hansi Flick will try to experiment to be our number 9, are they ready as well? We'll have to see. But today, during the Gobber Trophy, Deco had said, we will be making some moves in the market. I'm not sure if he's referring to a striker or to a center back. Hopefully both. We'll have to see. And Hansi Flick had also said, we're looking for a 9. Deco has done a fantastic job so far. I hope and firmly believe that the matter will be settled. I trust Deco. So, listen, I think the priority right now is definitely looking in for a number 9. There have been players that we have been linked to. The 2 main names that I've been seeing that we've been linked to are the likes of Lautaro Martinez and Victor Gyökeres. Lautaro Martinez is not happening. As confirmed today, Inter Milan do not want to sell Lautaro Martinez. And apparently Barcelona, there were people in Barcelona that were convinced with Lautaro Martinez. Apparently Lautaro Martinez was open to joining Barcelona, but today we got confirmation that Inter are not selling, and that doesn't surprise me whatsoever, that they're not going to sell him when the season just about to start. Like, they're not going to sell him last minute, right? So yeah, I never really believed Lautaro Martinez coming to Barcelona. Now, when it comes to Victor Gyökeres, there's been reports saying that Victor Gyökeres is offering himself to Barcelona daily, whatever that means. I'm not a big fan of Victor Gyökeres. I'm sure you guys are not a big fan of Victor Gyökeres. I'm sure if we were to get Victor Gyökeres, it would be for a high price tag. I mean, if we were to get him on a loan, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset about that. I'll get him on a loan, see how he does under Hansi Flick. Because when we look at the player that Victor Gyökeres is, aggressive, very physical, quick as hell, can be somewhat of a good finisher as well at times when given the opportunity. He's someone that could fit very well in the system of Hansi Flick, especially considering how much of a hard worker he is. But it's like bringing me back to Ferran Torres, like having that kind of player that is very inconsistent, can miss, clear opportunities or just not do much in every single game that you watch him play that you would expect him to do, right? It's just not a world-class striker that we're looking at right there with Victor Gyökeres. So, I mean, if we were to pull a loan move for Victor Gyökeres, see how he does for the season, I wouldn't be upset about that. Considering the names in the market right now for a striker, they're not many. They're not many whatsoever. And those are the 2 names that we've been linked to the most, with Lautaro Martinez, which is not happening, and Victor Gyökeres. So we'll have to see what Barcelona do. I mean, I was seeing that Arsenal were definitely open of getting rid of Victor Gyökeres. I don't know how much now, because they were also pursuing Julian Alvarez, but Julian Alvarez has shut the door on Arsenal because he only wanted Barcelona. So I'm sure probably now at this point, Arsenal probably just going to try to keep Victor Gyökeres. We'll have to see what happens there. But, man, I really don't know, guys. I really don't know who we could really go for. At this point, I really don't know, because it's a matter of we need a player who has that experience. We need a player who can do the job and not just some up-and-coming player, that Hansi Flick has to, just get the best out of immediately and hope that everything works out with him immediately in his first season. We need someone that definitely has the experience, that definitely has played at the top level, has played Champions League football, has played, even in big teams, you can say. But really looking at it, there's not many options. There's not many options whatsoever. So we'll have to see what Deco is working on. Again, Deco, this whole transfer window has been moving in silence with every signing that he's made, Rodri being the biggest one. So we'll see what Deco is currently cooking up. I don't know what he's cooking up. He might shock us with some big name, which I really don't know what big name it could really be shocking that would just get us so excited of bringing him as a number 9. But, I mean, looking at the preseason went, looking how the Gomper Trophy went, I think we do have a great squad that's able to compete for all the trophies. I'm very confident that we can win all the trophies, even the Champions League. And again, just the addition of Rodri is even better for me, where I believe that this team is capable of winning it all. Of course, not having that traditional 9 sucks, not having that kind of player. But we have players that can fill in. We have players, that are very versatile. We have players that are very intelligent as well, that can do a certain job if needed, playing either as a 9 or as a false 9. So that's the great thing about the depth that we have up top now. So we'll have to see what Hansi Flick cooks. Hamza, again, obviously is one of the main guys that we're looking at as well to be important for us going into next season. And looking at how his preseason has gone, where he scored, I think, 3 goals now in this preseason, which is great, in the Gomper Trophy. I love the movement that he had for that first goal. That was incredible. I'm sure Hansi Flick is going to really trust him. I don't think he's going to send them back down. I think he's going to keep him with the first team in the first team dynamics and really trust the kid, because we don't have any other striker. We don't have any other striker. Today he started against the Gomper Trophy. He played a majority of the game. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how much Hansi Flick really trusts the guy. Again, it's just a matter of he looks good. He looks hungry. He looks, he's obviously willing to fight for the team. He makes some good runs. He makes some good movements, a striker movements. But he's young, he's very young, and obviously doesn't have that experience of playing at the top level as of yet, right? So we'll have to see how much Hansi Flick will trust him during the season. I do think he will keep him in the first team dynamics until we get another number 9 or something. But yeah, we'll have to see. But Hamza definitely looks promising. If he, who knows? Maybe he can turn out to be a Lamine Yamal kind of player, a Kubarsi kind of player, where they just, young age, it doesn't matter. Young age doesn't faze them. They just absolutely kill it because they just have that innate talent in them, right? So we'll have to see. But yeah, guys, it's a bummer. Julian Alvarez saga is over. It sucks so much. I wish we could have gotten him. I truly wish we could have gotten him. Atletico Madrid, I'm just going to hate on them so much this season. I cannot lie. I'm going to hate on them so much this season. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to hate on them, bro. Every defeat, every suffering moment they have during this summer or during this season, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it so bad. I cannot wait. But guys, the league starts this Sunday, and best believe we're gonna be there for the game against Elche. But yeah, guys, I will be making a video also giving my opinions for this up and coming season. So stay tuned for that. But as of now, this is what's up right now with their number 9 situation. And guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, how you guys feel about this saga being over, and who should be our number 9. Who should Deco be targeting right now to bring in to be our number 9 for this up and coming season? Let me know those things down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, favorite, hit the notification bell for every time we upload. Share your friends, love football, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Much love, take care, God bless, and peace.